going.
Okay, it's going.
Recording. Going like the clappers.
Like the calipers.
The calipers. You ever seen people who've had a hard birth?
Me?
And they've had to use the calipers a bit much, and it leaves them with two donks in their heads. Some people don't want to be born because it's cosy in there.
Well, that was, I think I was 11 months.
Yeah.
That's when they used to just go...
You've still got that umbilical. It's going out for your belly button. It's away under the door, and it's your mother's still attached.
My
on the
mother
other
said it came out mouldy.
Oh,
Said you were on the way. You were
feisty.
on the turn.
Getting like a cheese.
That's true. Said you were on the turn.
Getting like a softie.
Yeah.
And it starts to go mouldy, and you go, "Will I eat it?" I do.
You'll just eat it.
I just eat it.
Okay, so what I want to talk about today. I was staying with my partner last night. Like grown-ups, having a sleepover.
Wonderful.
Midnight feast.
What a lucky lady. Lucky. It's like she's won something from Andy Peters on ITV, the GMTV. A night with Derek.
Oh, God.
Starting bids.
We could start doing that.
Oh.
We'd make literally dozens of pence.
No funny stuff, though.
Oh, no funny stuff.
Hands above the blankets at all times.
That's the way I'm with my partner. I'll have none of that funny business.
She insists.
She insists.
She insists.
She insists I'm in the other room. So
I had a romantic evening.
I'm driving down here today, and I pass 4 Teslas.
I saw
There's
2
Teslas everywhere.
I saw 2 Teslas the other day.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, I've just noticed that. What's
I'm
happening?
like, I don't know. Now, here's the thing.
Because they're silent.
They're
Stealthy.
Creepy. Now, I agree, electric cars,
But
that's the future.
they're a very bland car.
Oh, they're ugly design.
But they're designed just to not look very
Yeah.
interesting. If I had an electric car, I would want like
lasers
and
neon lights along
a thing like kit on the
yeah,
front.
absolutely. That's the future. That's what you want. They're very dull. I think the designs, they're awkward looking.
Consciously dull.
Yeah, I don't like them. But who's got these cars here? Because there was a thing last year, and there was a fucking Scottish politician. I can't remember which one.
Could be any of them.
And they said, look,
Murdo MacLeod.
That's it. That's a name.
That's a name.
There'll
He'll
be
do
someone.
Yeah, I'll be him.
Now, I think in 8 years' time, we're banning the sale of petrol and diesel cars in Scotland.
Yeah, it's going to happen quick.
Now, that's very soon, because people were saying, but where are you going to charge these cars? Because they take so long.
No, just a plug.
Yeah.
Just like your phone, mate.
But you know what he said?
What?
Just put the car in your drive and get... Now, in the hill town in Dundee, where I've seen all these cars, there's big extension cords out them.
So what will they try and do? Will they try and basically stop people from driving?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's...
But this is a difficult time, because they're telling people at the moment, don't get on public transport.
Yeah.
So public transport is incredibly vulnerable.
Dundee's about to get an electric bus. We're getting electric buses soon as well.
Right, okay. And I bet, and you know Dundee, there'll be a big cord come out of someone's house, or like up at the hill town, all the lampies are opened and there's wires going into people's
stealing
houses.
from each other.
Yeah.
You'll see about 12 cables all going into one empty flat.
And you know what it's like. It's you'll see the bus drivers, they'll plug in the bus, but their phone will be charging in it as well.
Okay.
That's what'll happen.
But we've got the stations putting up just now the bikes, electric bikes.
Now, I would love an electric bike.
I'd like to give one.
They're so expensive.
But I'd like to. You can hire them soon in Dundee.
Right,
I'd like to
okay.
give them a wee go.
Oh,
They're like $2,000.
They are expensive.
And they're heavy.
Yeah.
Because I'm a lazy bastard and I don't want to cycle.
The batteries only do about 1,000 cycles, and then you've got to buy them. They're like £600-700.
Okay.
So this is not cheap.
It's a battery. Somebody told me, not you, because I trusted information. Somebody told me that Tesla is a lost leader. The cars.
Yes.
It's not about the cars. It's always been about the batteries.
And that's why he just announced the batteries are 3 years away.
Yeah.
And they lost, 50 billion off their stock or something.
So he wants, you're going to have all these different car companies, but the batteries are all going to be Tesla.
Right,
That's
okay.
going to be the way of it, I believe.
Well...
Because he keeps launching stuff. He had the lorries.
Yeah.
And then he's always got to be launching something to keep it going, keep the whole enterprise going.
And it's all very snake oily, like the flamethrower, which was just an airsoft.
His money was on a party emerald, and his dad's a pederast.
That'll explain everything then.
That would skew your perspective, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
You've seen people like work to death. I led to believe
Okay.
that his job, can you get a summer school? I
Yeah.
worked in a shotbed factory.
Yeah.
I worked in a chicken factory. I planted trees.
AstroTurf layer.
AstroTurf layer. You've
Yeah.
still got the fingers, green fingers. The Musk, his job was to check the rectums of the emerald miners to make sure they weren't smuggling emeralds, and he got very good at it.
That sounds absolutely
That's what
true.
he did when he was 13,
Allegedly.
and his expression stayed the same. Can that expression he's got?
Well, there's not a lot of expression.
Wonderment.
Wonder-
You should just send him into fucking space.
Oh, God.
Him and that Virgin guy, Richard Branson.
Richard Branson.
I long for
Richard
him.
Branson has invested a ton of money in the Hyperloop.
Is he?
A ton of money.
Well,
the
Branson,
Hyperloop's
Branson's
nonsense.
not got the money. If the space is a new thing, the new hobby.
Yeah.
And Musk and the Amazon dude,
Bezos.
they're a kind of space
Yeah.
off. But I don't think Branson can tangle with them now. He's just not got the money. His airlines, like, fuck.
No, there's...
They were saying that, like, the long haul kind of 747s are all.
They're done. That's them
him
gone.
done.
Yeah.
And I know his jobs and stuff, but I'm kind of glad the long haul flights has been reduced.
Do you think?
There's a hell of a lot of pollution on them.
Oh, that's very true.
It's unpleasant levels.
That's very true.
I'm not. Yeah.
And there's a lot of word about, electric passenger jets and that, and I think that's kind of bullshitty at the moment.
You need a lot of oomph.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of bullshit in that.
A lot of oomph. They're flying over Papua New Guinea and the guy's like, God, we're needing to plug in. What do they do?
Do you imagine the
Throw
extension
a cable
cable
in.
around it?
You're unravelling it. Kid.
All you'd hear is the noise of
Aye.
unwinding extension cables as they flew into the distance.
But they did build a more efficient plane for long
Yeah.
haul that's lighter, it's carbon fibre,
Yeah.
uses less. So sometimes you need an event to kind of give us a wee push.
Oh, it's like
But petrol-
medicine and war and
Petrol is
Yeah,
gone.
it's
You just
done.
we'll see. We'll not see the end of religion or Simon Cowell in our lifetimes, but we'll see the end of petrol engines.
I think so. I think it'll be a bit like horses. Horses were just
Yeah.
tools.
Yeah,
And when the car came in, the horse then
I've
went
seen
to
a
the
horse's
rich.
tool.
I beg
Yeah.
your pardon.
Yeah,
And now horses are
And an elite-
revered.
Yeah,
You know, and it'll be like
yeah.
a petrol car. It'll
Yeah.
be the rich that have them. And
But I think they could put in the problem with this country. Our decrepit infrastructure makes it more difficult to retrofit.
yeah,
It's like Africa. They didn't really have the phone lines in place. So they've went straight to mobile phone
that's right,
technology.
yeah.
They've not been cluttered up. And people putting in brand new railway systems, there's nothing
There's
to get in the way.
nothing to- yeah.
We have all this old infrastructure that needs
and
replacing.
it's like the new high speed train they're building and what it costs to
Honestly.
save 8 minutes. And
Yeah. I
Oh.
love travelling by train. Don't get me wrong, it's my favourite way of travelling. And it'd be nice to zip down along, but it seems like a bit of a waste of money.
it does.
It does
It
seem
does.
a bit of a waste of money.
I think technology in cars, where car trains could exist and cars can travel at speed but nose to tail,
Yeah.
and it's all computer controlled. That's going to be more of the future.
Well, they
I
say
think.
there's going to be like flying cars,
Yeah,
but
brilliant.
they won't allow people
Nah,
to pilot them. They'll
it'll
be
just
AI.
be they'll
Yeah.
take off themselves. It'll be like a taxi service.
I wouldn't be getting in one.
No,
Do you think we're going to come to the point where there's going to be a schism, and you're going to have people who are just Luddites, and they get to drive petrol cars and have big mobile phones, and then you'll be these godlike creatures that will go about like they're just a human apple technology.
well, that's
they're all sleek and
that's
just,
the split in societies that you get.
and we'll become different.
Historically.
There'll be Neanderthals, and then there'll be the modern techno-humans.
Your kind of head and my kind of head, and you know I just buy nothing but technology.
You're a technology.
I love
You
it.
are essentially retrofitted.
Yes,
You
I
could,
need it.
most of your bodily functions, some kind of machine could do them.
Yeah.
If you're milked,
Oh, I didn't think
just
of
a
that. but
still suit that just milked you.
a still suit. I would. If there was a still suit, would you have a still suit? Full body rubber, just walking around pooping yourself, eating it.
fully rubbered. I have to lose a bit of gut before I did that. I know I hold my belly in all day long.
So
Remember, because you'll be 50 when we go to see
oh
Jude.
Jesus! No, I won't. It's coming out on the 2nd.
Oh, shit.
It's just before my birthday
No,
next year.
I'm writing to that Villeneuve guy and I'm like that. Could you do me a big favour? I'll owe you one. Could you just put it back for a week?
Oh God, 50.
You just won't have the energy to
So
get
getting
to
back
the
to the
cinema.
Teslas, and not my age.
Okay.
Right, getting back to the cars. Now in Dundee, there was a giant factory,
What
a
colour
Michelin
was it?
factory.
What colour was the Tesla?
There was a white, a grey, a blue.
I bet you I saw the what? Was it people driving them? Was it some event?
I didn't notice, but they're just Teslas everywhere. They're expensive.
Mhm.
Now in Dundee, there was a Michelin factory, tyres, huge, and it
Everybody
recently
loved it.
closed.
Yeah.
A lot
A
of
long lingering death of a place.
yeah, it was. A lot of jobs went, changed the whole area. Now, in the Evening Telegraph, our cutting edge newspaper in Dundee,
it's so modern.
someone who was an environmentalist,
Mm-hmm.
right, said, I don't know why people are complaining. This is the future. Cars are going electric. These places are closing down. And I was like,
Still need
tyres,
Yeah.
you daft fuck. Now, I remember referring to him as a silly person, but I don't think that word's strong enough.
What was this? Was this just a columnist?
No, yeah, someone writing for the paper, yeah.
Well, there's a guy called he's a columnist for the local press. He's called Ewan Gurr. He's a public figure, so we can name
so
him.
we can name him.
But down from us, there's the halls of residence where they were locked down for 2 weeks,
Uh-huh.
and the students have been writing stuff in sticky notes. You've
Yes,
seen it; it's
yes.
hilarious. But someone had wrote note help.
Mm-hmm.
And he took it seriously like it was a call for help. You're like, oh, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, Ewan Gurr. He was a BNP guy in Dundee.
Oh, what a prick.
He's an absolute douche. He describes himself, husband, father, activist.
Oh, I see.
One of these dudes.
Yeah, when you get that, that's... Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't like this prick already.
Mm.
No,
Dead-eyed.
Yeah, has to
Dead-eyed.
be. Has to be.
Oh,
Especially
dead-eyed.
to work.
Flip.
PMP's bad, but working for the Tully's 1,000 times worse.
Well, our local press, people don't really know it, but Dundee's a left-leaning place. It
Yes,
always historically
always
has been. A lot of kind of union activity. But the press is right-wing.
Yeah.
The
It's
Thompsons, they're a family.
the word you just used is a schism within the city.
It's very strange. So they work against the city.
Yeah,
strangely.
constantly.
People say that Dundee's a very negative place. And I think a lot is to do with the way the press reacts to everything. Any new project in Dundee gets a
Everything's a
slagging
battle,
from the
yeah.
press, yeah. It's I believe when we were going for the City of Culture,
Mm-hmm.
they were basically going up to people in the street. They were kind of getting straw polls to see. And people just moaning like fuck.
Yeah.
And it really put off the judges.
And it should.
And they went to Hull. Was it Hull that won it?
Oh,
And Hull
not
was
sure.
like that. Oh, we love Hull. Oh, we're so
Yeah.
upbeat. Yeah, Dundee.
No, if someone came up to me and said, is Dundee great? And you're like, no. From my perspective, no, it's not.
No.
We know, so I won't say who it was, but there was a couple that worked in this very floor, and they got a business going. They were doing really well,
They were.
really successful, and Dundee would not. They went to go to a market in Dundee. No, you're not getting. They were taking people from everywhere else, and they were that against this couple, and would put them down that much. This couple moved to Perth.
Yeah.
When they moved to Perth, on the day they were moving in, they had representatives from Perth Council going along saying, could you come along to this? Could we?
That's weird.
Just supporting them.
And Perth's a shithole.
A shithole. But they were, and the difference is incredible.
I think that there's a lot of low-level corruption in Dundee.
In Dundee, oh my
Dundee
God.
is famously corrupt. As a shopkeeper guy I go into quite a lot, dead nice guy, and he always tells me tales of like any licensing issues he's had. He's got other businesses. He says there's always some fucker comes giving you the wink.
Oh, I could imagine.
There's always a wink.
It's-
They want to get problem with places like Dundee. I really like Dundee,
Mhm.
but let's just say our council stock, the people in charge are shit.
Yes, yeah.
And they would love to be somewhere else, but they're not. And they've landed here because they're not very good.
Mm-hmm.
But they like to get themselves in the middle of everything.
They like the name on
So
things.
they
and-
smear their incompetence over everything.
Yes.
Get out of the way
Yeah.
and let other people who know what they're talking
Dundee's had this reputation for a long time.
about. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to use the word systemic corruption.
Yeah, but it's a
and
northeast of Scotland thing as well.
Terrible.
The central belt is more entrepreneurial,
Yeah.
more kind of gung-ho. They've got a bit of swagger to them.
Mhm.
The northeast, Dundee's quite bad. If you go further north, places like Aberdeen and that, for Christ's sake,
Yeah.
it's weird.
Well, I remember when I was starting a business and I was doing it from home.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I'm going to make the move.
So the clients came to
and
visit
it was
you.
going to, well,
Was it the?
No.
Did you just?
No.
Did you
No.
just drill a hole in your front door?
and I had lost my job, and I stayed on my savings for about 5 months, getting no, it's Dundee at that point. Like, 9 years ago, no work.
No work.
So I was like,
God, you've really turned it around.
I'm going to have to sign on, right?
So
I managed to sign on for, I think, 7 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, go down, sign on. And I said, but I'm leaving to start the business properly, get it all going. And they went, don't do it.
No.
And they went, stay on the dole. It's easier this way. And they encouraged me to stay on the dole.
And run a business.
No.
No, they thought,
Just
don't even bother with it.
Don't bother. They said it's a complete waste of time. They said to me, we get people coming in the time, I'm starting a business, it won't succeed. Don't do it. Stay on the dole. You're safer there.
And the thing is, when you look behind the lassie that was giving you this talk, she had a dream catcher on the wall. she was catching all the dreams of all the people who are trying to better themselves and just fucking crushing them, just destroying them.
And then, right, everything to discourage me. So you have to go on sometimes after a few weeks. You go on these courses to do a CV, So it was like it was meant to be 11 weeks, but they condensed it into an afternoon. How about that for a con? Yeah, that's another story. So I go along to this thing, and I'm talking to a guy. I says, I'm leaving anyway. And he went, don't tell them. Don't tell the dole that you're leaving. I went, I have. He went, right, they're going to throw you off. And I went, why? He says, they don't want people leaving like that unless it's directly to a job, because they don't get, it's like a point system.
But was this a dole itself, or was this a separate?
This was a separate
thing?
Oh,
fuck aye. There's one behind the McManus that used to do stuff. It is.
And they were telling me, don't tell them.
Yeah.
I go back 2 weeks later. Oh, you've been called in. This is what? You haven't been looking for a job, so you've been suspended. I went, I'm leaving this week. And what it is, if you get your money suspended, when you go back on the dole, you have to wait months. And this is what they do to everybody.
Punish you.
I complained. I says, I'm not leaving until this is sorted. And eventually someone came down to see the girl that was dealing with me and went, okay, there's obviously been a mistake. Nothing to worry about. Just go.
That's brutal.
And just like that. It was nonsense. But they told me, don't tell them you're leaving to be self-employed.
But they'll be working on a guy's CV for 5 years.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? They're not, it's not, yeah.
Right, it was that bad. Every time you do a CV, now I had my own CV that I got jobs with, so I stuck with it, right? And they went, I've been looking at your CV, and why would you put that on it? It says that you don't drink and smoke and you keep yourself healthy. Why on earth would you put that on it? It sounds weird. That was what someone said to me. And in my last 2 jobs, they pointed out, oh, you like to keep healthy and that. That's great. They actually pointed out that point on it. But someone who's given you advice on a CV,
yeah, it's you need,
said that's weird.
People like a good heavy smoker and a drinker.
Yeah. But that's how bad it was.
Yeah, no,
it's so bad.
And it's always a woman called Alison that's doing the training.
Now there's another place
with
called
biscuits.
Deep. Now Deep are they help you get into work, doing your CV, help you look for jobs and all that. But it's a separate it's a company.
Okay,
right? And I was living off my savings after my job went. And I thought, there's one in Lochee at the library. I'll go down and see if they can help me. And I went down, and the guy goes, and he was really funny with me because it's a drop-in. You could go in and see if there's any jobs. So I was doing that. Right, I need all your details. I went, well, what for? I'm just in to look. And he went, if you want to look, I need your phone number. I went, no, I'm not bothering with that. I was very aggressive. He goes, right, okay, so you filled in that form. He says, so I've got your name. He says, I'm phoning the dole right now. We'll see what'll happen. And I'm like, I'm not signing on. He goes, we'll see about that. And I didn't understand it because now you know what I didn't fill in.
For fuck's sake.
Do you know what I didn't fill in?
What?
When I went in, they give you a form to say how they performed. And you have to fill it in before you start.
Before they get any money.
I couldn't believe it. Corruption.
Have you considered they were maybe harvesting organs?
Probably more likely in Lochee Library. Yes, that's more likely.
Like that. You look at your seat and it's like a hatched door behind.
Yeah. But it's just what you're saying with corruption. That's low level corruption.
No, it's because it's the throw money at a thing.
Yes, to get it working.
But you can't waste money. You can effectively get people. They did a thing which would have been Amazon get a real slag in. But I know a guy who was unemployed. He was Dundee's longest unemployed person. He'd been unemployed for like 20 years.
Right.
25 years. Never had a job. And they'd said to him, you are Dundee's longest unemployed person.
Oh.
And they
Have a
said,
wee party.
we'll get sorted out. Amazon, we want you to show up at 11 o'clock tomorrow. He showed up at the Dole place. They gave him a urine test to make sure he wasn't on drugs. And then they got him on a bus, and Amazon got a hold of him.
Right.
And they took him through to the big Amazon on the way to Edinburgh.
Huge.
And there was a busload of them.
Right.
There was about 30 long-term unemployed. They got put to work, trained up, and the rest of them failed in no time at all.
Yeah.
But he's still there. And
That's great.
he's never been happier.
Wonderful.
And you see him now. Before he was a shumbling state of affairs.
Yeah, okay.
And now he just looks better. You know what I mean? He's got purpose. He's got people think, people on the dole, they're having an easy time of it. Are they fuck?
I was on the dole
Try
for
living on the dole.
a very short time.
Yeah.
And you're under pressure.
Yeah.
You're bullied.
And you've got
now, I'd heard of
to
this.
survive, you've got to wheel and deal.
Now,
You'd have to.
I'd been out of a job, had my savings,
Yeah.
they were running low. I thought, right, it's time I have to go on the dole, and I had to admit defeat at this point. Oh, it lasted a very short time, but I had to admit defeat almost instantly. And here's what happened. I was getting hassled like fuck, and there was this guy at work there. He was a lovely guy, and he come in one day and he says, "No, listen, you're going to get a lot of grief from us." I went, "Why? What have I done?" He went, "Nothing." He says the people with the highest chances of getting jobs will get pushed the hardest.
Yeah, the folk have no
The
chance.
people have no chance. We'll just leave them. He says, we don't care. We're not going to get it. He says, and there's a list. He says, your name. He says, and he says, right at the top of the list. He says, so I'm here to give you hassle. He says, I'm not going to, but other people will give you a hard
But
time.
the thing is, Dundee no longer supports industry where anybody could get a job.
Yeah,
there's a lot of folk
now,
are just the days are just there's some sand over there.
It's like
there's a shovel. Could you move that sand to a separate heap at the other side of the car park?
That's years ago. I went for a job, which I got, and it was at the car rental place.
Okay.
And the only reason I got the job is because I put a CV in it. 71 applications.
There's jobs now come up, part-time jobs in Dundee. You get 600 applications.
It's crazy now. And it's kind of frightening, especially in this area, because everything, people say, oh, Dundee's growing, and everything's closing.
There's a lot of nice. They built the V&A, which is admirable.
Yeah.
I like their positivity.
That's brought in 30 European
but
jobs.
It's not made a huge. There was a while there was like cruise liners were pulling up.
Yeah, that's
and
all
they
stopped.
thought, wonderful.
Yeah.
People on cruise liners don't spend money in the city.
They don't.
The cruise liner's full of stuff. The cruise liner.
They've made huge mistakes in Dundee. For example, they had the Malmaison Hotel. An old hotel in Dundee, which was for homeless people for years.
House. It was a DOS house. I stayed there for a while. Nice,
I'm sure. Nice.
Things I did to stay there.
And they've turned it into a lovely hotel. Then right across from it, they built the V&A. Then right in between that, shitty building.
Yeah, it's an empty kind of thing. It's a
disaster.
Yeah, because that's involved Dundee council people.
Exactly.
There's been some management have got their crooks into
You know what they were doing?
They'll get to build a skyscraper in Dundee.
A skyscraper, that's right. Luxury flats they've built, and there's no parking. And people were saying, if you're in a luxury flat, the chances are you have a car.
You got a luxury car.
Oh, no. There's the parking along Riverside. We'll give them a deal on it. So you're going to leave your car in a car park down at Riverside? No. It'll be destroyed.
What they keep building is down in Riverside where there's rats. There's mainly rats. 90% rat.
Yeah.
Rat or rat feces or dead rats. That's all
everywhere,
you can see.
yeah.
They're just building these apartment blocks.
Yeah.
And they've started, the ones that are the oldest are starting to look a bit shonky already. Crumbling.
They do the wood veneer on the front and it all goes rotten because we're on a river.
We're on an
estuary. And it's just, everything's falling apart.
Yeah. They try and make places, the problem is the industry died in a lot of places for a number of reasons. So Dundee thought it needs to be a destination place, which is fine.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of a fucking pandemic.
Yeah.
So I don't know where's the revenue coming from in Dundee.
There's none. There's none. It's like when they were building the V&A and the development on the £1 billion
artificial
development.
beach.
I know.
We're going to have... It's going to be an artificial beach for half the year.
A body face down in it.
It's going to be a skating rink for the other half.
It's just another failure.
I suspect that'll never work.
Yes.
Do you?
I don't
Can
know.
you see it ever working?
Because it's Dundee, no.
They've got they built a bit which is quite nice. They've built an expanse of grass,
It's a good bit of grass.
and that's just perfect because folk do use it. They
Yeah.
utilise it.
Mhm.
People sit there. A lot of people are in flats. They've been stuck inside a long time. It's nice, just a simple piece of grass. But they've got a hut there that's meant to be a coffee shop,
Yes.
and they've never
Never-
got round
it's-
to doing
yeah,
it, and
it's
it
just-
costs them thousands of pounds a month just to have it sat there.
It's
And it could have quite easily had an old dude handing out ice pops.
that's
They
true.
could have had one of those giant chess sets,
Oh, that would have been fun.
and he could have something, but they've like
Got nothing.
no. But Dundee famously had the golf courses in Dundee were the most corrupt things ever.
Now
People were just stealing
it was like
for
the
decades.
mafia
The
run.
mafia ran it. There was certain people. I don't know if I told this story before, but it was making zero. They've closed the one in Camperdown.
and
the golf
that-
course.
I think that was one of the most used golf
Yeah.
courses in Europe.
Yeah, unbelievable. And what the deal was, if you were a local, you got it for certain, and if you're a visitor, it was more expensive. They basically put everybody through as a local and pocketed the
That's
extra
right.
money. And they had been doing this for decades, and there was about 6 or 7 of them. And they were all going on fancy holidays. It was a lot of money. They were all buying nice cars. One of them got moved
Right.
and was bitter because he
Oh
wasn't
my God.
he was pulled off the tit, so he reported them. So all of them got moved from their duties. The cars went, no holidays for them, but they've been doing it for years. Another one down in Broughty Ferry, there's a go-kart thing,
Yeah.
and they've been running that for years, pocketing all the money. They're all ill, so this young laddie gets put down there for a day. Huge profits. They're like, we've never made money like this on the go-karts. What's been happening? He was just taking the money normally.
Just being
Yeah.
normal.
As soon as when
I say low level corruption, but I remember being a kid with
Aye.
my half set of clubs
Aye.
going up to Camperdown because it's just up from my house.
aye,
And we go up to the golf course, and what you do is you join the golf course halfway
yeah,
and sit having a sandwich. And
Oh.
when people come up, just go, play through, mate, we're eating.
Aye.
All right, thanks. Then you do it 3 times and then go, right, okay, we'll just go. And then you join the procession of golfers. And then when you get to the 18th, just run away and fuck off home.
just. But when I started a job in the council, it was all cash,
Right.
and the tills were lit. I mean, nobody was keeping an eye on fucking anything.
Oh, my goodness.
And there was a guy. He, I'm not gonna say his name, but he never had a day off sick and never took holidays.
Right.
And he was running the shop.
All right.
And he eventually, how he got caught, the bank had phoned the council and said, the museum's not put money in
Right.
for 4 months. Have you changed bank or something? What he'd been doing, he was leaving the building with the money each day, but he was just putting it into his car.
Oh, my
And he'd stolen thousands and thousands of pounds worth. And there was nothing in place. Isn't that madness?
It was
Just-
kind of, I have to say, when I look back at old jobs and that, and there was cash involved, it was just
Remember, you'd work
whatever.
at a place and there was cash, and folk would always be, I'll just take in this suit, I'll put it back later.
Yeah,
Everybody
that's right.
was using the cash.
Yeah, the petty cash.
I can remember looking at everybody like, what?
Yeah.
I'll put this back later. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Yeah, I do
Little
remember
deals. They used to they'd sell stuff in the shop
Right.
privately.
that. Oh, God almighty.
You know? Hey, I've got something that might interest you, so I'll
Well,
here.
you worked at the cash, and the cash was a bit like Vegas
Oh,
of Dundee.
yeah,
Whatever you wanted.
Everything.
Now, I worked at the cash for 2 weeks and was bullied incessantly and hated it.
To steal, yeah.
But if I needed something, I knew.
Yeah.
Do you need some new rafters for your house? Do you
Yeah.
need some heroin?
They
It was
all
all there.
There was guys in long-term sick who were second jobs, and you'd go in there, you got paid treble time on a Sunday, and nobody would do anything, and everything got nicked. Everything got
Everything.
stolen. Just everything went out the door.
Oh,
It was-
God.
And you thought, this place can't last. It's like mental. What?
When I was the first time I came unemployed, how old was I? I think I was 20,
Mm-hmm.
and the place I was working at shut down. One of the old docks places, you know.
Yeah.
I was just working there and
Down the docks
in
as a young lad.
on the corner, and
Under the
and I'd only been there
under the
6 months.
Victoria Arch.
Exactly. So I go to the door and they go, look, you've just lost your job. You'll get another one. We'll just put you on a training course so you don't need to come in.
Aye.
You know, and it was like that then. They knew
Yeah.
if you were working, they didn't bother you.
Yeah.
So I go on this training course, and it was a week. I think it was called Restart or something, and you had
Yeah.
to fill in forms, the CV, all this sort of thing. Just cups of tea. And there was me, there was a girl beside me, and
Uh-huh.
everyone else was bus drivers, and they'd come in their uniform. They were all signing on. They'd all come in. And honestly, some of them went, my shift starts in half an hour, and the person running it went, off you go.
Oh, what?
It was a simpler time.
It was simple time.
Everything was corrupt.
Remember students you could sign on over the summer holidays?
Yeah.
They stopped that.
I had a friend.
There was a lot of money swilling about at one time.
Listen to this.
The glory days.
Only 8 years ago,
Mhm.
7 years ago, she was a dancer on the cruise line, like just
Yeah.
a performer, right?
Is it Jane McDonald?
And she was signing on,
Uh-huh.
but she said to them, no, I'll be in Venice. I can't sign on. They says, listen, we'll sign it for you.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And she kept, and they were just like, yeah, just stay signing on. And she was away working on a cruise.
That's a kind of attitude like we're all in this together.
We're all in it.
Yeah, we're all in
You're
this
only
tog-
working a temporary job, but don't worry
We're all
about
in
it.
this
It was
together.
like that, but
It's
you couldn't
got
get away with
quite-
that in Dundee.
No, it's got. Nowadays, they would literally drag a person out of the wheelchair to make them do a job.
Well, it's if someone's sick and you've
Yeah.
got to go and see this nurse. Now, I'm not sure of these nurses because they work for private companies. This is not a government thing.
Oh, yeah.
And what they'll do is they'll put you in the waiting room and
And
then
watch
you have
you.
to walk to the door to
Mhm.
go and see the nurse.
Mhm.
That's so many steps. You've already failed. They went, you can walk so many steps.
Oh, that's vicious.
How about that?
I
And
remember.
there are people who are genuinely ill. There was a guy that lived next door to me, and his leg is constantly. He had an accident at work on the rigs,
Right, you got a crushing
and
injury.
I don't know what it was, but oh my god! And I saw him once outside his house just having a wee greet because he got up the stairs, and the pain was unbelievable.
Oh, God.
And he's been like this. He's an older guy.
There's a
but
lot of guys
terrible.
just like a wee walking stick.
Yeah,
I think the guys on disability, I think it's maybe a Wednesday they get to sign up. There's different days of the week.
Mhm.
So they'll appear. So you see them going down to sign on and they're looking quite ill, but when they get the money, they're out. Fred Astaire out the other
Well,
end.
this guy, right, worked all his life, had an injury,
Yeah.
and you should see the leg because he can't put
Oh.
clothes on it or that, and it's this pink. It's all
Oh,
this
like
thing's tight.
gouty.
And it's been like that for I think 11, 12 years
Oh,
now.
Jesus Christ.
Always in pain,
The
but
pro-
he's
the-
always on his crutches going about,
Yeah.
and he says there's nothing wrong with me, but he struggles badly, and I've seen him struggle,
Yeah.
and he has to get government assistance.
Yeah.
So they called him down,
Mhm.
right, because he applied for Motability,
Right.
which should have been done years
You get
ago.
a car, don't you?
A car or bus or whatever
Yeah,
it was.
yeah.
You know, you get this money to taxis, whatever. And they tricked him because he got his crutches and he walked through to the
Oh,
thing.
fuck.
And when you look at his leg, it's been like, honestly, it's like 20 operations he's had. And the doctor said, can't do any more or the whole leg goes. That's
Oof.
it. And
Maybe
they
we're
went, no,
better
you
off.
walked that far, that's it, it's all over.
Oh, that there.
And I thought,
There's
that's
a coldness.
terrible.
That's a cold
Yeah.
human.
What sort of nurse would do that?
Imagine doing that all day. The thing that annoys me is they've made it on TV now. Bailiffs are comedy car. Like,
Yeah, that's the worst thing.
yeah, like a bailiff.
That's very alien to us because
that-
we don't get
yeah.
bailiffs in Scotland.
That's somebody
but
you're supposed to find endearing.
nice and charming.
Again, I know there's pieces of shit who are taking the piss.
That's
need
it.
to be, but yeah, you're throwing people out. There's accidents happen.
Yeah.
I remember watching one of the bailiffs, and the person was getting binned out of their house. It was parking tickets.
Mm-hmm.
They'd accrued. They'd got not parking tickets. A
Yeah.
parking ticket that just.
Yeah,
There's no ceiling to them.
yeah.
You can
that's
end
right.
up owning £20,000.
A girl here famously.
Well, she was an idiot.
She was an idiot.
Yeah, she was
But
an
how
idiot.
do you get? It was like 30 grand or
30
something.
grand, yeah,
and,
sure.
And she went to court with it, and she has to pay it.
She has to pay it. Yeah. Kim, I mean, you've got to be. The crime should fit the punishment.
It's
Being, again, if you're parking in an ambulance bay, for example,
Yeah.
put fucking. But, yeah.
sometimes, yeah. That's why we don't get bailiffs in Scotland, and you actually
No,
can't
you-
technically go to jail for financial
You can't
crimes. here.
clamp. You can't clamp.
here.
No, clamping's.
There's
yeah.
loads of things in Scotland.
If you try to
can't
clamp
do.
a person in Dundee, they would just drive off with the clamp.
You'd end up with someone murdered.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
I've always fancied being a traffic warden, though.
I've seen them getting abused.
I would
And they're-
know. I love that shit.
Do you like getting
Yeah.
abused? Oh god.
I love the animosity.
Yeah.
I would thrive on that. I'd be whistling.
I
on the
have
way
to
along.
say, when I was dealing with the public in my job, there's a different you.
Mm-hmm.
So when they come at you shouting and swearing, you're like,
Oh no, I'm no.
I just
I have
doesn't mean anything.
I've got a switch. I'm quite pleasant, and then there's a stage where you're like, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm terribly sorry. Then there's the aye,
Aye,
and you get
whatever.
sorry. And then you're like, get the fuck. I won't be spoken to like a cunt. I don't care who it is. And you've just got to, but we've discussed this. You have to turn it up to 11.
If someone's been passive,
Obliterate.
zero to
Obliterate.
to the roof.
Just obliterate.
Yeah,
just obliterate.
I
Obliterate.
find myself when someone goes, well, if that's what you think, and I go, what did you say? You fucking cunt! I'll fucking stab you. And you've got to do it.
You've got
to do it.
You've got to. But
And
it's
then
nice
other times you just got to choose your battles. And nowadays, I try to keep it non-violent
Is your
of
ju- is
thought and action.
Is your juice starting to run out? You're
No,
starting to get that dry way.
I got to 27
Uh-huh.
and I went, I've had enough of this. I'd always get myself into some trouble. I'm
Is
a
it-
piece of shit.
is
I
it-
can't
is
fight,
it-
but I'd be
is
right
it-
in
is
the
it-
middle.
Is it testosterone? Is that the aggression?
Yeah, and you have to remember your frontal lobe doesn't kick in till you're about 26.
Uh-huh.
So young men do stupid things, and when you get to that age,
Lead.
You-
There was lead in the petrol as well, mate.
yeah, but you don't have that. It goes when you're 26, a bit of common sense. Because when I look what I'd done before I was 26-ish to after that, completely different.
Two different people.
Completely different, and people
Two
don't realise that. But that
Oh, yeah,
thing
you're a
that
different-
makes you do stupid things
you're-
also makes you do wonderful things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
But I would-
Youth. Well,
I-
young people don't wear socks now.
Oh yeah, but I would never get into a fight.
No.
I knew I could win
Oh, for God's
because I'd
sake.
go, that's bullying. And I remember, this is not a joke.
Uh-huh.
I would have a black eye, swollen lip, my ribs are hurting, and I felt,
Self-satisfied.
yeah, I did it.
You're a strange individual.
I did it.
Yeah.
I could take. I remember.
You're like
I
David
could take that.
Carradine. You like kung fu.
Yeah,
No,
just take
not kung fu. Is it called? Kung
grasshopper.
Fu. A grasshopper.
I could just take an absolute kicking, and I felt. But if I went up to a guy and I started hitting him,
That is a sex thing. You do know that,
no,
don't you?
it wasn't. But if I went up to a guy and in a fight and I started really punching him, I would look. I said, "This has got out of hand," and help him up. I went, "Come on, let's talk about it." And I would instantly calm down if I knew I could win.
Ah.
But the only way I knew I could truly win a fight is if I could get my arse handed to me.
That's very, very.
Because I didn't want to be a bully. I hated that.
No, bullies.
So as soon as I was winning, I had to stop.
Okay.
If I lost, I went, that fucking showed them.
I showed them
Yeah.
as they're walking away with bits of you in the soles of their feet.
There was, I got a hiding once.
Oh.
There was these guys they were cops.
Oh.
And I didn't know. And
Dirty
they were
cops.
I was just being a prick.
Oh.
And they were annoying me. So I just started unloading on them. You fucking, just everything. The worst things you could think of, you know? And
Did
the
they get
guy
you?
says, you say it again, I'm going to knock you out. And I went, go on then. Go on then. You're not going to do it. Is your tampon falling out? And he was getting wound up. Oh my God. When I woke up, my mate was still laughing. He says you went down like a sack of spuds, like.
Oh God!
But that's the best kind of beating. When you get beat up, you don't even remember it.
The best kind of beating. There was a guy when I first year at art school. This is a long time ago now, but there was a laddie in our year, but he'd been due to start the year before,
Right.
so he'd come from Glasgow to go to Dundee Art School. And he'd got his stuff, and he was like zippity doo da up to the bus station. What kind of underpass? It used to be beside Groucho's.
Yes.
Da 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 da. Goes under there, set upon by a gang,
Right.
beaten to a bloody pulp.
Oh my
Beaten
God.
to a bloody pulp. So badly injured, he did defer the year after.
Jesus Christ.
And he was still a very upbeat person. But it can ruin people. It can give people agoraphobia. It can change their person.
You have to, people have to be careful. You have to be sometimes put in your place. It's a real learning thing. Because if you have to learn to get over that. Because a lot of guys, if you get beat up, you're emasculated, you've lost a lot, but you haven't.
You've discovered you had an erection throughout.
Yes.
A very pronounced erection.
But it's, no. To be beat up in a fight, that means nothing.
No,
It literally means nothing.
But we've discussed this before. There is less fights
which is wonderful.
Yeah, pubs when I was working on the doors, well, there was a lot of bother. I can't remember, I've not been in a pub for a while during the situation, but I can't remember the last time there's a big rammy kicked off.
That's a good thing.
There's just less.
It's calmed down a lot.
Younger people are maybe just less concerned with stuff. Is it maybe people are getting less tribal? The football,
I hope so.
The football thing is just
that's dying off. That is dying off.
That is dying off.
I think
you don't even have to. You'd have to pretend some vague knowledge of football.
Yeah,
you could. Again, you could. If you went up, what football team do you support? But if you'd said nothing, you could get hiding. You didn't like football.
You didn't like football.
What are you saying about me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it was like oh no, I forgot what I was going to say there. You just got so animated with a fist in action, I got quite distracted.
Is that my fist in action? You have to slow first, then you
know what
speed
it
up.
is? I heard an American said, "There's one thing we can agree on. We all know the Scots hate the English." And I'm like,
yeah.
I don't recognise that.
No.
What are you talking about?
I see Donald Trump's latest one is he said, if Joe Biden wins, it will all be like Wales.
What?
He's saying the new place now that's just on its arse is Wales.
Wales.
It's like Wales is a hellscape. Wales.
Well, when I was in the States, everyone's the saying was France. At least we're not in France. I went, what? Where do you get that? And I could not figure out. Now I was there. What was it there? 6-7 months or something. And in that time, I tried to find out. But where do you get this? I really made efforts.
I know.
Couldn't get it.
People. It's wartime memories. People coming back for the Second World War, they'd seen France on its arse, fought through Normandy and that, and like
you know what? That's probably that's an elegant answer.
America's never, apart from the Twin Towers, America's never been like really bombed by a foreign power. It just has no. The hurricane destroys it quite a bit, but there's never been a.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But that's probably a good example because I couldn't.
I know we're not getting political. America's in the right fucking state of affairs.
They're in a state of affairs.
It's in the
and it's sad because I really like it.
I
really like it.
I think there's going to be a boil lanced, and I might be completely wrong, but I think a regime are about to go, and I think they're going to go quite quietly into the night. I think people think I was listening
apartheid styley, just quietly done.
But I was listening to TV and there's a guy gave quite a sobering thing and he says, Ben, imagine if maybe Donald Trump lost,
right?
And he goes, but he kind of sets up an alternative White House in Trump Towers because he says he's actually got an armed militia now.
That's quite incredible.
So he says it could be.
Oh God, I never thought
that's
of that.
Quite what.
That's a worrying.
If he says no, he's he no longer. Then he's got what he wants. He's not any authority. He's not got to do anything. But he can just issue.
A freer. Yeah,
it's a freer way. It suits his mind. And I thought, God, that's quite sobering. But I think we know this. So many rational, sensible Americans, and I think they'll win over. I would like to think.
You know what? America gets a hard time from the foreign press as they would perceive it, and they give themselves a hard time.
Yeah,
the Americans I met are very, very astute.
Yeah,
worldly, smart.
Yeah,
interesting. So I can't. It doesn't make sense that they'll just follow anything. It's very easy to focus on minority groups. Like they're carrying rifles.
They're
loud.
Yeah,
and it's very easy to do that and say that represents America. I didn't find that.
No,
that was not my experience. My experience may have been wrong.
All the things we like, all the nerdy shit, it's mainly America that produces it all.
Yeah, they do all the stuff we like.
Love him or hate him, Adam Savage, that kind of mentality. There's a lot. It's America that generates the majority of that
because they've got this attitude. Their creative development is constant and fast.
Yeah.
And it's because there is that fantastic attitude that they're brought up with. Now, I'm sure it'll have its downsides. You can always say that.
Yeah.
But I found it to be, people say, it's a land of opportunity. But I really did find that. I really did find that. There was a lot of wonderment
Just
there.
the scale of the place.
It's big.
And you can just move. If you don't like it, you
can just move.
But they do.
Yeah.
Like Scottish people will put down roots and will fucking stay there regardless.
That's it.
You're up to your oxers and human feces. You're like that. We'll hang about. They'll give it another day. Americans are
it's very difficult to move here.
Yeah.
There, you can just up and go.
Just get one of those U-Hauls.
Yeah.
And move aside to the opposite side of the country.
And it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
I was, I think I mentioned this before. It was, the girl was living with her sister, was looking for a house.
Mm-hmm.
And single mum ended up with this 4-bedroom house with double garage and everything. It was she just rented it and it was fuck all. And they just went to see the guy. Oh, could I move in tomorrow? Yeah, on you go.
Well, the thing,
and there was no.
If you watch stuff in the TV, British telly, they're living in Sheffield, and they're not happy, and they won't think to themselves, "I'll move to Birmingham."
Yeah.
They'll go, "We'll move to Australia."
Yeah,
it's almost easier.
Yeah, it's
in
easier
Britain to just go, "Fuck this, I better go."
It is.
Yeah,
it's very
weird.
difficult to move here.
Yeah, it's weird.
And financially, it's a killer here to move. It's a big thing to move house here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to say, I hear people who have never been to America saying, "Oh, it's rubbish," or "It's great."
Aye, yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people might disagree with me, but I don't know how they could, because when you actually go and you think, "Oh, people, you're the foreigner," you see this on the TV. I was welcome everywhere. Here's another thing: you go to the Midwest where I was staying. Politeness is at a level you can't imagine.
Saying that polite people are dangerous.
Well,
when they go, they go.
But this is they're brought up different, and they were polite. It was fucking lovely.
Yeah.
And I felt I was rather impolite because I didn't know.
Yeah.
But no, I found it to be absolutely wonderful. I like New York. I went there. I think I've been 7 times or something.
I would like to go to New York, but there's a lot of bed bugs.
Oh God, the hotel I was in.
A lot of people bring back bed bugs.
Pennsylvania or something. Right across from Penn Station, from Madison Square Garden, right across. And the whole hotel smelled of sick.
Oh.
And they always say
any particular flavour of sick? Like a cheesy sick or
no, and you've
sour?
Been ill. Not like drinking or anything. You've been really not well. You got a bug and you've spewed.
Like a TB ward.
Yeah,
really an illness.
It was terrible. But in this hotel, they're notoriously small, the hotel rooms.
Okay.
But the bed, there was a TV in the corner and it was squeezed against the bed. So to get past, you had to climb over the bed. It was so small. But in the toilet, I sat down on the toilet, doop-a-doop, and I sat back and there was a marble ledge. And I just put my head right into it and walloped myself. So you had to sit bent forward. It was really small, but it was dirt cheap. For being in Manhattan, it was a cheap hotel at the time. I don't know if it still is, but it was just full of travellers and that. But the best thing about it is you could go up to the top floor and the corridors had huge windows at the end and you could look over the city. And I got beautiful pictures.
Oh, wonderful.
And then you just walk around the corner and it was Empire State Building.
Well, my brother went to New York and had a hot dog, but he found it can you want to get a hot dog?
Oh, shit.
Say it was fucking appalling.
I was taken to, the guy that took me was like, this will be a big deal. This is the world famous Nathan's hot dog, which I'd heard for the first time at that moment.
Right, and was it good? No,
it was shit. They're dry.
What?
You have them dry. So it's just a hot dog on a bit of bread, and the bread was... I'd
like to go to one of those diners and get like an endless cup of coffee.
Been there. Now, I made the mistake. I says, can I have some milk? They went, for what? I went, for my tea. They went, we'll get you some cream. I went, milk. They're like, what? And I put milk in my tea, and I put it in my coffee.
You maybe started a trade.
Now, this is like, honestly, everyone went, I'll give it a try. It looks disgusting. Apparently, a cup of coffee is nice and a cup of tea is nice, but when you put milk in it, it instantly becomes addictive. And everyone says they can't stop drinking it now.
You've started.
It's a trend. In the whole area, everyone was drinking
milk,
tea with milk. They'd never heard of it.
What's mental?
But
what likes the milk in America? Because I remember Spanish milk was quite appalling.
I'm not the best person for taste.
You don't like milk,
but it was fine.
I don't like cream in my coffee.
Oh, horrible!
That's a bit much, isn't it?
But
I can't drink.
Was great.
I can't just drink a thing of double cream.
That's disgusting.
I can drink a whole can of condensed milk.
Heart attack in a can.
Condensed milk.
Oh God, no. The food in the States was great. They do. The service industry is just
they're living on tips, so it does make you have to be a bit more.
All the food was lovely. It was really nice. I mean, I went to one place get a curry, and the curry came out. And it was chicken breast, and it was boiled chicken. I went, mate, I'm not eating that.
No.
And he went, no problem. came back. Proper chicken, probably was spitting cum in it, but it was done.
Butter.
But
it was a creaminess.
the only thing that I hated, that I've had enough food. I don't want the rest of it. They'll go doggy bag.
You don't like that. No,
They
they
put it
stick
in a
all in
doggy
together.
bag, and it goes home. It goes in your fridge, sits for a couple of days, goes in the bin. I don't think anyone ever opens them.
You can maybe give it to somebody.
Oh,
Generosity.
horrible. Especially if you put salsa and everything.
They have done quite a number with this with TV movies over the years. And like just American movies. We've been indoctrinated to their way of doing stuff. It's
absolutely.
It's soft power.
It is.
America's ruled the world. We like hamburgers and television.
It's the Sun Tzu thing to invade a country properly. They must invite you.
Well, they said that the Romans. You think of the Roman Empire that they like just fucking crushed everybody. Give them the sword.
No, it was soft.
They gave them majority of it. They says, you like wiping your arse? What do you use? Moss. We've got a sponge and a vinegary stick.
I've used it. Really? You can have it.
Fucking hell!
Like,
that's it. I'm signing up with Caesar.
That's exactly what it was.
Imagine being a British person living in a cave.
Yep.
And they say to you, we've got underfloor heating.
Oh my goodness.
And baths.
What?
It's like it had been magical. It has been so.
Did you imagine aliens landing now?
Yeah,
and they're good lads, and they say, "Look, do you want your flying cars that can never crash?"
They touch you with a finger that's got a big sucker on the end, and your penis just grows 25 inches. You're like that. Oh.
I can't have another 25 inches.
No. It's like that what's that? Arrival.
Yeah.
Alien technology would be like magic.
That's who was it? Was it Carl Sagan or was it
Hawkins has said that as well? I think.
Yeah.
But again, if you gave your granny came back to life and you handed her a smartphone,
it'd just be amazing.
Would it be too much? Could it get to a point where it would just blow your mind?
Now, if you did see something that was magical,
Aye.
you might not know the function of how it happens, but you would recognise what it did.
Yeah. Okay.
You know. Because if you didn't recognise what it did, you might not recognise it as something new.
Self-cleaning underpants.
Oh God, you need them.
I've seen stuff and it's clothing. It's if it gets torn, it reforms.
Okay.
I'm thinking underpants, skid marks, nanobot technology, and then when the gusset rots, reforms.
Now you're saying that. But
I'm telling you,
what they're doing is nanobots that constantly patrol your body. And when something goes wrong, stem cells, everything.
Oh.
But I'm glad you went to underpants.
I'd love Imagine all you needed to buy was one pair of underpants. And you put them on.
I don't want this world.
No, you want them, but they're self-cleaned.
This brave new world is ugly.
The whole underpant, big underpant, the company would kill.
Yeah, but you're only making one underpant. It'd have to cost like $3,000 for your underpant.
But for a lifetime. How much money have you spent in drawers in your
About
life?
20 quid.
Oh, fuck. No, in your lifetime, in your almost 50 years.
Oh, Jesus fucking God.
So that's almost, I say, you don't look like a man that changes his drawers every day.
That's certainly not.
Do you leave them on for a... Do you leave your pants? I change
my
every,
pants
pants
get
and
changed
socks.
twice a day.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I told you my socks get changed every day to a brand new pair.
And then what do you do with other...
They go, and I keep them, but I say I have 365 pairs.
God.
I'll go through them all, then I'll go back to the first one and wear them again.
Wonderful. I remember watching a thing, and it was Channel 4, and they had people living in a dump.
Okay.
And to recycle stuff to use. One of these high concept things. And the guy there, each day,
right,
he put on a new pair of socks and pants and threw them out. Each day he threw them out.
I wouldn't throw them out.
No.
But I do wash them thoroughly, the socks.
It's never the same.
The feeling of a new pair. But when you get around to a year-old pair, which are only been worn once...
That's been away from your body for a year. That's had time to settle.
It should be okay.
Right, okay.
And I put them on. They do feel new. It's wonderful.
Yeah. No, just one pair of underpants.
People have said to me, what a waste. And I'm like, hold on a second. You smoke, you drink, you take drugs, you don't have a job. My one vice is buying socks. Fuck off.
I know. And in the scheme of things,
it's not the greatest problem in the world to have.
No, it's not.
I don't spend money on anything else.
No,
I just buy socks.
That's your luxury.
You know what? At Christmas, I get a pair of socks. I get emotional. I go, that's the best thing you could get me.
I don't buy socks and pants. I wait for Christmas.
Yeah, that's
I just wait for Christmas.
Body spray, Africa.
Aye,
that's
I
Christmas.
I was saying that I was in Pound Stretcher recently, and they had can I interest you in some socks, sir? And I bought 6 pairs of socks for £1.50. And when I go to put them on, I thought, nice new sock. And I just put them on, and each time the heel just goes.
Oh,
you can't even put them on once.
Oh, that's not.
That's good. Infuriating. But I've grown. I like a fitted sock.
Yes.
You know, one that's shaped like a.
Yeah.
The tube sock's not a good thing.
No, they're not good. They're not good.
They're not, are they?
No. If you're hiking or anything, it's got to be a fitted.
It's got to be a fitted sock.
Yeah.
I have a pair of socks.
Oh.
That it's the same ones favoured by Prince Charles.
Oh, fuck.
And they are wonderful. And I've had them for about 3 years. They're wonderful. But they're not microbial.
Right,
they're wool. And wool socks. You should wear wool socks.
Okay.
Wool keeps down the
stink. I have no stink.
No stink.
My athlete's foot has no stink.
Your athlete's foot. Have you thought about maybe treating it?
It's not. It's not. As it turns out, it's not athlete's foot.
No.
It's psoriasis.
Oh,
I've got little
You've
dots,
been to a dermatologist.
and it's psoriasis.
Oh, well.
I had it as a kid. It's in my family.
Have you thought about just soaking your feet in vinegar?
Tried it all. That really aggravates.
I remember we were on holiday in the Triumph Dolomite up in the Highlands of Scotland, and we got lost.
Okay.
And there's places in Scotland, there's no signs. You're just like,
you're in the middle of nowhere. That's it.
Everywhere looks exactly the same. And we stopped at this. There was a bothy in a wee local shop and stuff, and we stopped to get assistance. And a local fireman, Chio, came across. One's down the window, and he's leaning in. And he had psoriasis completely covered in it. And the wind just blew all the skin into the car. And it was just little eddies. And it was just floating about. Little motes of skin. But we were so polite. I remember one time we were driving back, me and my brother, my dad, we were driving back from somewhere or other at night. And my dad sees somebody hitchhiking. I think it's a great idea. We'll give him. And this guy that gets into the car, you've never seen anything like it. He was like black with dirt. You know what I mean? But he was like a travelling chap. But the smell of him, but he was a nice chap. But I was just sat there thinking, this could be it. This
is the moment.
This is the moment. He just pulls out. He starts picking his teeth with a stiletto or something.
My friend, who lovely girl, does porn. Well, I haven't seen her in years, but she'd done porn and everything. She ended up in Japan.
We all have.
Doing it. She'd been doing it for years and years. But she used to hitchhike everywhere. And she was actually really well off, but she would only hitchhike.
Oh, God.
And I was always like, please just don't. It's a risky thing. She goes, it's okay. And she always had a bread knife ready to stab someone.
A bread knife?
A bread knife.
Why a bread? Just a serrated?
Just a serrated edge, just to fucking hack at them. And she goes, no one will touch me. I'll fucking kill them first. So when I get in a car, she says, I've always got my bag and my scarf and the knife in my hand ready to go. You could be. So I was worried about her.
Poor guy could sneeze or something. She thinks he's lunging.
And for years, I was worried about her hitchhiking. I didn't like this.
Now you're worried about.
She's the scary one you pick up.
She's going up and down the country, murdering people.
Probably, but she always had it, and I remember laughing.
You don't see
there's my knife.
You don't see the hitchhikers now, do
no,
you?
Doesn't happen now at all. And would you pick up a hitchhiker?
Well, I don't drive, so
difficult.
It would
difficult
be
on your bike.
Down the motorway.
No, I've picked up a hitchhiker, I think, once.
I'm sure a pal of mine was in America, and he picked up a hitchhiker. And he hitchhiked and got into a car with a guy who was then stopped by the police, and the guy's like, don't worry about, I'm smuggling drugs. And got caught up in
oh my God!
Yeah, they got the guns pulled on him and had to explain that he was just a hitchhiker, and it got quite fraught.
When I was in the
States, shot.
We went camping. Excuse me.
It's okay.
In the Ozarks.
Oh yeah,
beautiful.
Wonderful.
So we head south, and we're driving down there, Now, the car we were driving
Mm-hmm.
was a Chevelle SS, my dream car.
Has that got fins on it?
It's very Mad Max looking.
Okay.
Absolutely incredible. It was like my partner, she got it given to her when she was on her 16th birthday and kept it. And I was at her house and saying, God, the dream car, it's an American car, the Chevelle SS. And she went, I've got one. And she went and got it. And the next thing you know, I'm driving around in it. It was just amazing.
Uh-huh.
So we head down south, but it'd been stored at her dad's house. And her dad was a bad lad.
Uh-huh.
So we go in to get the tent when we're at the campsite. And I open it up and I look down, there's a fucking rifle in the car.
Oh.
And her dad was a felon. So to get caught with that, and I was like, what are we going to do? And she went, oh, for fuck's sake. So we just covered it up and all the camping stuff and then have to drive 200 miles home.
Okay.
And she went off. I went, oh, I forgot about that. I forgot about
just
the
hiding those guns.
The big Armalite rifle.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We just looked at it. No one was touching it. Like,
Oh, no.
he forgot about it.
I watched a thing, crime the other day, some Scottish crime.
Oh.
And it was just, they were in the Clyde looking for a murder weapon. And they just found so much shit, just machetes.
Yeah.
They were like that. Now, this machete is not the one we're looking for, but it is of interest.
Oh, God. It's. Do you notice when you watch American crime things, they can do even crime quite glamorous.
Yeah.
But when you do Scottish crime, it's always raining.
Well, all
and
the
it's
guys, all the CID guys were overweight. We like broken blood vessels on their cheeks.
Yeah.
It's a stressful.
It's not
stressful.
Yeah, it doesn't make you look younger.
My opinion of humanity is not the best, but if you were a murder detective, your opinion of the human race would be pretty bleak, wouldn't it?
Well, here's where you have to be
Can
careful
you do
with that.
child pornography
Oh
stuff?
yeah, no, that's.
Well, you have to look at stuff.
Yeah, that'd ruin your life,
no,
man.
but you would fucking break you as a human
that
being.
would break you. That's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
It was a friend of mine worked in a women's support centre, like
Right,
a
okay.
refuge thing, and it was things like that. And she would say, "All I know of men is they're bastards."
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, that's just your work.
That's our experience.
All I know is people that just hire cars every day. That's all I know of people." So when you say it like that, it's ridiculous. It's like you have to not think like that. And you
But
have to.
I suppose it could go two ways, though. If you're dealing with stuff like that, you could become so emotionally involved in it, you just can't let go.
Yeah.
Or you become so detached from it,
You're
you build
not
a shield.
Yeah.
Either way is too much.
God, it's a tricky one for
Isn't
the
it?
police and that to be involved.
People
in these
give
things.
the police a right slagging off a lot of times, and the police can be incompetent as fuck.
And they can be dickheads. But no, Jesus, what a job.
Fucking hell, what a job. Can you find a fucking human torso in a wheelie bin?
Yeah.
That's no the start to my. Can I see a dog shit in the street and I'm like, oh God.
I was going to
skipping over a turd.
I was going to join the police once.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but then I realised it wasn't Police Academy 4. No, when I'm out.
You'd have been like the black guy that just went, "What up?"
Make noises.
No, Bobcat Goldthwait.
Oh, what a hero.
Bobcat Goldthwait. Did you find Bobcat Goldthwait funny?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't.
I watched him in a film.
Steve Gutenberg.
One Crazy Summer or something it was
okay.
called. And Demi Moore's in it and John Cusack.
Oh.
And he's riding a moped, and as he pulls the moped up, he goes, "Oh, the humanity." And I laughed at that for about 3 hours. Just because I'm riding a moped. It was great.
They made like 9 of those fucking films.
Oh, God.
The only funny bit of the Police Academy films is Lassard getting blowjobs at the podium.
Oh, there's more to it than that.
No, that's it. Nothing else is funny.
Bobcat Goldthwait, he's give up that character totally
Is
for
he?
a long, long time, and he
Okay.
won't do it now. But he's a director, and he makes some cracking films.
Does he? Mm-hmm.
He made Windy City Heat,
Okay, no.
which is about this comedian. There's a couple of comedians, and they met this guy, and this guy is completely delusional and insane. And they made this whole film to make him believe he was starring in a film. And it's just the biggest joke. It's the funniest thing. And even though it's like they go to the premiere and there's no one there and they don't let them in the door. Oh. It's just every single thing's a setup. And it's the funniest thing you've ever
Are you
seen.
doing this to me? Nobody's actually watching this.
Just the biggest, most elaborate joke.
This is a therapy session.
Has it worked?
One of these days the doors go open and my mum and dad will get come in. They're like, son, you've
the
made a breakthrough.
Because you're just going to sit one day and go, I don't feel like killing
Maybe
anyone.
maybe I've not even left my house.
Is that... There's been a couple of times in life.
That curtain, there's a corridor.
There's a load of people there.
Yeah.
I've actually felt that, and it was when I hit my head, this big scar here.
Yeah.
And I was walking along the beach after it, and I couldn't remember if I was surfing or it was in my house. Which one am I? But it was so real. It was like a waking dream.
I had one of those where I'd got up. I was a teenager. I got up, had a shower, played with myself. Had another shower.
Played
got my
again.
uniform, played myself. Got on the bus, played myself. Got to school, assembly.
Yeah.
Everything's normal. Conversations with my mates. Somebody flicks something at the back of my neck. I go, ooh, touch my neck. Wake up, in bed, sat up, and there's a bit of the quilt touching my neck. And I'm like, where the fuck am I?
Yeah, that's a
glitch in the that's a glitch
yeah.
in the matrix. I had a dream. I know dreams are quite tedious. See if anybody knows what this. Maybe some.
As soon as people
psychiatrist
start
out
this conversation, I just walk out. Yeah, carry on.
I'm sat there in the dream.
Okay.
And I'm going to change my underpants. This is very underpants themed, but bear with me.
Always is.
Pull them down, but there's another pair of underpants on under there. And I'm like, what? Pull them down, there's another pair. And I'm like, what? And it's like a nightmare. I'm just pulling pants down and it's just more and more. They're multiplying. What's that about?
You're an idiot.
What's that about? Like 150 pairs, and I'm still going. Then I wake up.
That reminds me of something I tell people.
Yeah.
And it's a lie. This is a lie I tell people. But for some reason they believe it.
Right.
And I'm going to say it to you, and I told you it's a lie, and it's a convincing lie. You know the Princess and the Pea? The story is, and because it was like an old grotesque story.
Because fairy tales are bleak. They're weird and lovely and magnificent.
The urine that would come out of a princess was so pure it could go through anything. So they give her 100 mattresses, and she had to drink and drink and drink. And she peed the bed, and a single drop of urine went to the bottom, and they could tell she was a princess. But they've changed it to there was a pee in the bed that she could feel it. And see, you're going, sounds right. It's a complete lie. But the amount of people that I've convinced with that story, so much so, I've had it repeated back to me
wonderful.
as a fact.
Because the Cinderella one,
that's a terrible
in the
story.
original, they make the ugly sisters dance to the dying, like shoes made of hot iron.
Yeah.
There's a lot of horrible.
The sisters cut their toes off
to get into the shoe. Yeah. They're wonderful things.
It's a scary thing.
Yeah. They
Some
try
of them are
and
bad.
do like adult fairy tales, but they're very kind of Freudian, aren't they? There's dark
there's
undercurrents of sexual.
It's all sexual.
The wolf and all,
But the thing with the
they
fairy
all kind
tale,
of come from the Bavarian forests.
What?
There's a lot of
you know,
forests.
I think the Bavarian forests get a hard time, but they're lovely.
Well, they make those carved bears.
That's
Did you see the fat bear competition the other day?
I did see that.
That was a fat bear.
There was a very fat bear. Who comes up with this crap?
I just don't know. I don't know. Dundee needs something like that. Fat dog competition.
Oh, God.
Fat Staffordshire Bull Terrier competition.
There's a lot of them.
Fattest old lady.
Oh, no.
They get the fattest old Dundee lady and one of those tiny wee smoky women, and they get them to fight in a stadium.
In the new stadium we're getting.
The new
watch
what
that.
new stadium?
The gaming one.
Oh, that's not a stadium. It's like a bedroom, isn't it?
It's a bedroom.
A bedroom.
Is
it just
socks on the
But do
floor?
the gamers, when they're being watched in the Coliseum to computer games,
Yes.
I take it they just sit there with a plonker out and like they're eating noodles and that.
Oh, and listen, this stereotype. There's a lot of gamers that watch this.
Oh, do they
They'll
wear?
have your
Do they
number now.
wear uniforms and
They wear
costumes?
No, they don't wear costumes. Do
they wear capes?
No, they don't wear capes.
Do people pull on their gamer gloves?
They wear their sponsorship top. They look like a team.
Do they look like Formula One drivers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who sponsors them?
Oh, we've got all the gaming companies, all the people that make computer components, parts, lots of things. A lot of money involved. A lot.
Well, you know how much I hate sport. I'll give you this. Watching somebody play a computer game will be no better than watching somebody play snooker.
Incorrect. it's far more exciting, dynamic. You've got people who are just so good.
Right.
They're so good. You just can't believe it.
Did they have close-ups of their thumbs?
I don't think they usually do
They
that.
should, though.
I know, that would be nice. Just a wee
Close
bit
up of the thumbs.
a little
'cause
GoPros on their head.
Because if you just, do you sit and watch? Do you just watch the screen of them playing, or do you watch them playing?
No, you watch a screen. You watch a view of it. Say it's PUBG. They have just from their point of view. But you watch it from above, and then people sort of fly around them, and you follow different parts of the fight. Oh, I love it.
You'll be there.
I will. I'll be there watching
You'll be
gaming
there.
competitions. I love it, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, you please wash your balls.
Yes, wash them thoroughly.
Hey, could somebody, if there's any scientists out there, the eternal underpants. I'm going to stick some of my pod money into that.
Oh God, how much have you made so far?
£7.
No, that's because I gave you £7.
Okay.
Give you your bus money.
Oh God, I won't get on a bus. But wash your balls, people.
Laters.
Be nice to each other.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Be nice. Take care. Everyone have a wonderful week.
Wonderful week.
Take care.
I'm going to have another Kit Kat.
Bye bye.
Ta-da.